Balling from the sidelines, latest edition. We're gonna be doing. I'm not even gonna call them by the division name. I'm gonna call them the Wayside division standings. The worst team, the worst division in the league. One of the worst divisions I've seen in a long time. Just pitiful, awful, awful, awful. Balance of power in this division. There's no power. It's the balance of powerlessness. And the goal of this prediction is just to pick the team that's the best of the worst and is the least underwhelming and the least garbage. And that's going to be and I'm talking about the NFC South, by the way. Um, that's going to be the New Orleans Saints. Offensively, uh, they're probably in this division, if you look at it through, yeah, I mean, they're the best. They're definitely the best offensive team in this division. Derek Carr, who is on the decline, he did pretty bad last year, in my opinion. He underwhelmed a whole lot. He was pretty sought after in free agency. You had people like Commanders fans, and you know, people from other franchises who wanted David Carr as their quarterback. But he just didn't hold up his fair end of the bargain when it comes to building off of the decent year he had 2 years ago in Vegas. So, I got him winning the division though, because Chris Olave, Michael Thomas again, another guy on the decline. So it's really more of like Chris Olave. And but they added Jamal Williams this offseason, guy who had a great year in Detroit, found the end zone a lot, had like 17 rushing touchdowns. So they got some decent red zone efficiency pieces in place. David Carr is the best quarterback in the division too, which just all just goes down to how bad this division is. Like I said before, defensively they got the best defense in the division as well too. They snagged a lot of the well, no, they didn't. That's not them. I was thinking the Falcons. The Falcons snagged a lot of their players. But they had some losses in free agency is what I'm trying to get at. They lost Marcus Davenport. They lost Caden Ellis, who was, probably their best pass rusher last year. And David Onimata, who actually hopped on to the Falcons, their best interior lineman. But they're still the best defense and then the best defense in the division, I'd say. Tyrann Matthew still over there. You got Demario Davis, Cameron Jordan, veteran leadership can still get you some good pass rush downs and QB hurries and whatnot. Marshawn Lattimore certified, quality starting cornerback. So I got them winning division. They're probably gonna go like 10-7 or something like that. They're not gonna be good. They're gonna get absolutely demolished whoever they play in the first round of the playoffs. But I got them getting that division spot. You look at the number 4 spot. I got the Panthers getting finishing second division. I know it's a bit iffy. They got a rookie quarterback start, which is always a question mark. Bryce Young, they got him at a quarterback, rookie guy. I believe he went to Alabama. Alabama quarterbacks generally have not panned out well in the NFL. Besides Jalen Hurts is an absolute beast, top 3 quarterback in the NFL. But he transferred as well too, so he's not really like a purebred Alabama quarterback. But I mean that's where he made a name himself. So I can't discredit the Crimson Tide for that. But I got this team was the worst team in the NFL last year, win loss wise, and that's why they're the number 1 overall pick. I really like the addition in the what they did with the running backs, the running back spot, adding Miles Sanders. He did really good with Philly last year. Dual threat running back, he can catch passes, run the football. He's not gonna wow you and make these eye popping plays, but he's efficient. He's gonna move the chains. He's good on third down. Good ad for them. As far as receiving core goes, Adam Thielen in addition, he's washed up on the decline, but maybe he can Maybe you'll be lucky he'll get you 500 yards. That's probably his ceiling. DJ Chark, they're for their wide receiver DJ Chark, he had a I'm pretty sure he got hurt last year. Or he was coming off an injury, something like that. What I'm trying to get at is he was really good in Jacksonville at one point not too long ago. Now he's in Carolina with the rookie quarterback, but it could it could work for them, they could be decent in that sense, they could be a sneaky decent offense to the point where they could give some defenses issues, who would just completely underestimate them and think it's gonna be a cakewalk. They're not a cakewalk type of offense. It's not a good offense, but they're not a cakewalk either. But you look at the other side of the football field. I said earlier that the Saints have the best defense in the NFL. I mean, the best defense in the division. It's actually arguable. You could arguably say that the the Panthers do. I mean, look at the guys they got. They got Shy Tuttle, Derek Brown, Brian Burns, Shaq Thompson, Justin Houston, Von Bell, Xavier Woods, and J.C. Horn. Um, those are some quality starters on the defense. Brian Burns, great pass rusher. Shy Tuttle has been a really good nose tackle for them in the interior. And Justin Houston, he's a little bit older now, but leadership as well. And he can still do some things on the edge for you. Von Bell was a great ad from the Bengals. That was a really good ad for sure. J.C. Horn did really well last year at the corner spot. He was a highly rated coverage corner. Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods did solid last year, had like a 63 PFF score, a serviceable free safety. He was pretty good at with the Vikings too before in the past, as well as the Cowboys. So I think the Panthers are gonna improve immensely from last year. They're gonna have a major overhaul turnaround, and they're gonna be in set up. They're gonna be moving in the right direction. Next season, they're gonna get even better, I think. So I got the Panthers going like 8 and 9, maybe maybe not 8 and 9, probably like 7 and 10. But I think their ceiling would be 8 and 9. I think they can go 8 and 9 would be the best case scenario. Maybe more like 7 and 10, 6 and 11. But regardless, they're going to be improving by five games or more this year, which is a big step in the right direction for a team that had the number one overall pick. So yeah, the Panthers, especially their defense, I like their defense a lot. Even in the past couple of years, their defense has been ranked pretty well. Um, even when they had Sam Darnold that 1 year, a couple of years back, the defense did hold their fair end of the bargain, and I expect the same from them this year. And again, it's a very weak division, so their defense probably look better than they really are. But I just don't have them. I don't think they got the offensive firepower to um, trump the Saints for the number one division for that division title, just because the Saints they don't have a rookie quarterback under center, and they still have the Saints still have Alvin Kamara. They have the better offense, I'd say. And when it comes to third in the division, we got the Atlanta Falcons, who, like I mentioned before, they pride a bunch of the New Orleans Saints players, especially on the D line. They pride a lot of their players away. You look at they got Ryan Nelson, David Onyemata, and what do you call it? Caden Ellis on their D line, and they got Jesse Bates for they got him from Cincy. Artur Smith has gone 10-6, 7-10 the past couple of seasons, past 2 years. I kind of expect the same thing from them. The Falcons with their quarterback situation, they got Desmond Ritter. And for running backs, they have Bijan Robinson. Yeah, Bijan Robinson, the first round pick. I think he's gonna be a really good running back. He's gonna get over 1,000 yards this year. I think he's gonna be better than Saquon Barkley is right now. Maybe even this year. But um, you know, you Desmond Ridder, you got Drake London, good wide receiver, Mac Hollins, decent year last year. But I still don't have them finishing ahead of the Saints, the Panthers, because on the other side of the football field, they're still pretty lacking. Even with those additions that they made, I still don't think they have a good enough cornerback duo. They have AJ Terrell. Yeah, I mean AJ Terrell's all right, but he's not good enough, put it that way. D Alford, yeah, I mean their secondary isn't what it needs to be. Calais Campbell, again, he's on the decline. He's not the Calais Campbell of old. Grady Jarrett's pretty good still. But it's just not a good enough defensive unit for them to, finish second or first in this division. Then I got the Bucks finishing dead last, besides Mike Evans, and I don't really have much anything positive to say about their offense besides Mike Evans. I mean, Chris Godwin's all right, but they got Baker Mayfield throwing them the football, and Baker Mayfield is garbage. The Bucks defense, they still have quite a few of their cornerstone pieces that won them the Super Bowl last year. Obviously, Vita Vea, still great as a defensive lineman. You got Levante David still on the squad, arguably still the best middle linebacker in the NFL. He's coming off a great year. Carlton Davis, decent cornerback, solid cornerback. Devin White, he's had his ups and downs, but I still like Devin White. I still, I feel PFS has been tearing apart recent years, but I still feel like in coverage, I don't mind him in coverage, to be honest. But it's just now that I'm thinking about it, the defenses in this division are actually they have a lot of middle of the pack, slightly above middle of the pack defenses. If you look at the Saints, the Panthers, the Bucks, so on the defensive side of the football, there are no slouches in this division. Even the Falcons, but the additions they made, taking a lot of the Saints quality players from last year that uh that got him a top 10ish ranked defense or 11, something like that. But this defense isn't what it was a couple years back. They're not in the contention for the best defense in the NFL. They're no longer a defense that's going to set the NFL record for least rushing yards per attempt given up. You got Antoine Winfield. Obviously, he's a guy who wasn't on that team from a couple years back. That's an upgrade as well at the free safety position. He's coming off a really good year. He's having just a good career overall, being highly touted out of college, with his father being a stud cornerback in the NFL for a number of years. But again, it's just not what it used to be, the defense. Maybe it's because of age. I mean, obviously, it's been a couple years since they won the Super Bowl. They don't have Ndamukong Suh anymore. They don't have Murphy Bunting as in the secondary. And they don't have Whitehead either as a safety. So those are big reasons why the team has declined defensively overall. I mean, Ndamukong Suh had a big resurgence in Tampa that year. So it's a decent defense, but not a strong defense by any means. And I think they're gonna finish in the cellar of the division. Mostly because of the fact they picked Baker Mayfield as their quarterback. If they had another quarterback, maybe the division is so weak that maybe they could have won the division, but they're just not going to get it done because of that reason and that reason alone. And they don't really have running backs to carry out that load either. I don't I know people expect a lot from Rashad Penny. They've been saying for the past few years, but don't really see him panning out to be anything more than maybe like an 800-yard rusher. So that's where I stand with the NFC South. And one thing I'm also realizing too is now that I think harder, Antoine Winfield Jr. was on that championship squad from a few years back. He was young and he's a lot better than he was back then, but he was on the team back then. When they won the Super Bowl, he was a starter. So don't rip me apart for that. I know I caught myself lacking, so you can't say I was I was tripping over that. It was I corrected in my mind.